I am delighted to welcome to the Kids Entertainer podcast Colette Kelly, who's going to be sharing a really important topic with us today. Welcome, Colette.
Hi there. Thank you, Kenneth. It's a real delight to be here. I'm really looking forward to share with you today about speaking with our clients. It's something that I do on a daily basis in our business Magic for Children, where I take and manage the bookings for myself. My character name is Doodle, and I do birthday magic shows and kids disco parties and so on for the 3 to 6 age group. So I get to speak to a lot of people, and I have learned some very interesting and important things that I'd very much like to share with you that you can use in your kids entertainer business.
Wow. And it's got such a broad spectrum reach that you're speaking about, Colette, because whether you are a face painter or a balloon artist, or you do games or a kids DJ, at some stage you're going to be speaking to that client, that booker, on the phone. And what you're going to be sharing is what you say. You're going to be sharing your script with us today and some do's and don'ts of telephone technique that is going to increase your chances of getting that booking at the end of the day. So it's something I'm really looking forward to.
Yes, very much so. And I think if we sort of start at the top and you think about what are the kind of calls you are likely to make and receive, it falls into 3 categories. First and foremostly, the incoming call, the mum that chooses to phone you directly. You will maybe get the outgoing calls when somebody has sent an inquiry form or an email wanting to find out more about your party, and you may choose to phone them before you send them through an email. And then there are those calls that you can't take because you are busy at a party, or maybe you're at the shops and you're not able to take that call. And we're going to look at those 3 categories in a little bit of more detail as we go along.
Excellent outline there. So those 3 really important categories. I've never thought of it like that there are actually 3 different kinds of phone call. So the one coming in, somebody inquiring, the one you giving information when you've already maybe made contact, outgoing call that you will make to them. And of course, that call that you can't take. I guess that's an important one as well, because how many of us miss opportunities for work from not being available to answer that phone? So I'm looking forward to that one. So you're going to start off with that incoming call, I guess.
Yes, very much so. So the phone rings. You are in the middle of doing something and you've got to stop. And I'm almost wanting to urge you to, before you answer that call, make a very quick assessment. Because firstly, you need to consider, what is your setting? Am I in a place where I can speak to this person respectfully and give them my full attention? The last thing you want to do is answer the phone with a screaming child in the background, or a television blaring, or anything of those kind of distracting background noises. So before you answer that incoming call, make that assessment. Can I speak to this person right here, right now? So box ticked, you can answer. What is the first thing you say? I have, after lots of trial and error, discovered that you need to make the customer feel comfortable as quickly as possible. So putting it in there from their shoes, putting yourself in their shoes, they are phoning for a rather bizarre inquiry, if you wish.
It is, isn't it? Because
It is.
I know I answer the phone sometimes, and it's almost like there's an embarrassment on behalf of the person who's phoning.
Yes.
So if I answer the phone and I say, "Hi, you've got Ken Kelly here," they kind of go,
Yeah.
"Is that the people who do the parties?"
Yes, or are you the clown? I sometimes get. So I have adjusted and answer the phone with my name. Hi, you're speaking to Colette. And immediately I say, you are at Magic for Children. So I let them know they're at the right place. They've not dialed the wrong number and going to ask or make a fool of themselves by asking a rather embarrassing, awkward question. So that is very important. State who you are and let them know they're at the right place.
That's so important, isn't it? Because they feel comfortable. If you are answering the phone with who you are and what it is that you do. So you might answer the phone and say, "Hi, my name is Ken and you're at Balloon Twisters International." And they'll know exactly that they're at the right place. So then they feel more comfortable in taking that phone call forward. But I guess I've got one question before we go on. And I know that you're an expert at this. You run all of the bookings through Magic for Children, and I know that you're dealing with 15 plus inquiries per day. So you've done this hundreds and hundreds of times. Do you recommend that you have a dedicated incoming number or line to use for your incoming inquiries? Because how do you know when your phone is ringing that it might not be your friend from down the road? Because I guess the last thing you want to do when you pick up that phone is go, hello,
Yeah.
hi.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, at the end, you can make the decision to just always answer your phone, Colette Magic for Children, regardless whether it's the bank ringing or whether it's your phone ringing or your potential customer ringing. I guess you're going to cover all sorts of bases there. What you don't want to do is answer the phone as you would when your friend is phoning, because you want to instill in your a potential customer confidence from the very first moment they make contact with you.
Wow. Really important. And I guess it's that professionalism, because they are looking to book a professional, a
Exactly.
professional that will come to their event or their child's birthday party and do a good job at entertaining the kids. So I guess maybe it's really cheap to get a SIM card and pop it in an old mobile phone and to use that number as your incoming call. So when that phone rings, you know that that is a business related call and you can answer the phone appropriately.
Yep.
So you don't have maybe a family member that might answer the phone and go, hello, yes, I'll see if my mummy is available. It just kind of shatters the
Yeah,
illusion.
very much so. And it's such a, we all say don't judge a book by its cover, and first impressions are most important.
They
All
are.
of those, they're all really, really important. And if you have that first impression, that first words that they get, if they are filled with doubt or uncertainty, that really taints your likeliness of turning that prospect into a customer. It really is such an important part of the whole process. The second thing I'm going to come on to, so now you have your person on the phone, they know they're at the right place, and probably most of the time, the very next words out of the person's mouth is, I'm inquiring about your parties, how much is it?
How many of us haven't heard that 1,000 times before? I'll be honest, it makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
When they phone up, because they'll say, hi, blah, 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 you're at the right place. How much is it for your package? What do you say?
Yes, it's quite a tricky one, and they phoning with one purpose in mind. And so they have what they want. They want to know how much it is. I have got a certain amount of information I need before I'm able to give them that information. So it's about respectfully guiding them towards where you can tell them more about what it is that you do before you give them that price.
You can't give them the price unless you know what it is that they want.
Exactly.
You might be a balloon twister and they'll say, how much is it for your balloon twisting? And I guess your prices are going to vary, whether that be at a child's birthday party,
Yep.
or if it's a corporate event day where you're going to be standing making balloons for a never-ending line of children. So in the same way, and I guess if I use an analogy or a story, if I was phoning up a car dealer,
Yeah.
and they answered the phone and they said, hi, this is Fred's car dealership, I would know I was in the right place. If I was to say to them, how much is it for a car?
Yes.
They would not be able to tell me.
No.
Because they need to do an assessment of what my needs are. Do I need a family car? Do I want a sports car? Do I need an off-road car? They need to do some fact-finding to be able to match the right car that I need before they can give me a price.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I do. I will acknowledge that I've heard them, and I say, before I can give you that information, there's a few things I need to know. So they now know, okay, I know they want to know how much it is, and I will get to that in a moment. And I give them the reason why I can't give them that straightforward answer that they're looking for, essentially. And I will ask them the questions I need to know. I need to know, is it a birthday party they're calling about, or is it a christening, or is it a wedding? Because that is going to influence who I'm going to be able to suggest for the party, for their particular need. Then I will find out what date it is to see, am I available? I'm going to inquire about the age group of the children. Is it the age group that I work in? And then from a lot of trial and error, very important to establish where they are in the country. I once had a lengthy conversation, had the person so excited, only to ask at the end, whereabouts are you? And they turned out to be 3.5 hours drive away from where I was located.
That puts the price up a bit, I guess.
Exactly. So I very quickly learned to establish those things very early on in the conversation. And those are going to those answers. So where is it? When is it? Who is it for? And what is it for? Are going to give me the information to be able to then essentially go into my script, my sales pitch, if you wish.
Now, with that information finding, how would you best suggest do that? Because I guess they're excited about the event that they're planning. Maybe they're a little apprehensive. Maybe they've been given the job of putting together the company's Christmas party. And I guess if you're just going through a whole checklist of it feels like a little bit of an interrogation over here. What is the date? What are the ages? How do you kind of engage them in that conversation? So you're getting your information.
Yeah.
But letting them fizzle with the excitement of their booking.
That's it. And it's first and foremostly, it is to share that excitement with them, is to say, oh my goodness, that's so exciting. You're planning a birthday party. Tell me all about it. So you're inviting them to share those details, but almost under a fluffy blanket, if you wish.
Yep.
So where are you having the party? Is it at home, or is it in a hall? Are you? What date is it on? How many kids are you invited? Who's the party for? What is their name? Oh, how do you spell that? And while all of these things are going on, I'm making notes. I'm writing all this information down because I'm ultimately wanting to send them an email at the end of this conversation.
Sure.
So I'm going to need those details: the date, the time, the age group, the child's name, where they are and what it's for. And through this sharing of their excitement, they will normally, because that's all they have, when you say to a client, tell me more about your party, they will have the date, the time, the place, and who the child is. And they are phoning you for the what they want to do.
What I would say. So that's for the kids' party. And I guess we're speaking now to children's entertainers that may work more than just children's parties, but it's the same kind of formula of checking out. And I think what you said there that really matched with me is you're getting the child's name. So is there a child of honor, a special guest, a christening child, a birthday child, so that you can refer to them by name when you go through your script?
Very much so, and as quickly as possible. If you can personalize it to them, it has a huge benefit.
Sure.
Because it now feels like it's theirs.
That is so important, and I know from a psychological point of view that as soon as you are saying a person's child's name and talking about the fun their child will have, the joy on their child's face, it creates a warmth within them, it creates a connection and a bond, and it releases certain chemicals in the brain that kind of form a connection with you because you're talking about their child, as opposed to, and then we get the birthday kid up and the birthday kid does this.
Yeah.
If you're using their child's name in there and personalizing it, it makes a really big difference. It makes it feel like a personal conversation with them, I guess.
Exactly. Now, all of this happens very quickly. You'll have your facts very, very soon. And at that point, one of two things are going to happen. Firstly, no, it's not what I do, and therefore I'm not the right person for you. And you can establish that after a very short conversation. And then you don't have to give them the price, essentially. Secondly, yes, it's what I do. What you are looking for is exactly what I offer. We're a potentially good match. What I then do is I identify the problem that they are ringing with. Isn't it just the most frightful idea to be keeping 35-year-olds busy for 2 hours?
Right, so they got a 2-hour birthday party maybe, and you're saying, just imagine yourself having to look after 35-year-olds.
Exactly.
So is that what you say in your script? Are you moving on to your script now?
I would sort of go over into the next step of, now I've got my facts, and now keeping in mind they are still phoning to find out how much is it? How much is it? You've now veered them completely away from that, and you're building commonality and everything like that. And now you are identifying with them, saying, I know what your problem is, and I possibly have the solution.
Sure.
So hang in there. And what, maybe not necessarily in this specific order, I will say to them, I'm going to share with you what it is that I do, and you can see if that fits for what you are looking for. But to save you having to write all of this down on little pieces of paper, I will email this to you at the end of our conversation. Is that okay for you? And, oh, thank you, that is so helpful. That saves me a lot of hassle. Immediately comes back, what is the best email to use for you? And they give you their email address without fail. Unless at that point they have felt this is not going to work for me. I might get a, you know what, I'll think about it, I'll phone you back, which is a cold shoulder, I'm not interested. But that very, very rarely happens. So now you have their email address. And at that point, I will then go into the script.
That's really interesting. And I guess wise. So you get their email address right up front after establishing you can do it. So you're kind of qualifying that.
Yes.
Can I do it? Is it going to fit me as an entertainer? Yes, it is. I'm a great match and I'm available for you.
Yes.
And the time's going to suit me.
Exactly.
And now give me your email address because I'm going to send you my stuff through.
Yes.
Wow. And I guess that if I think back to conversations I've had and with potential bookers over the years, very often you'll go through your whole spiel and they'll say, oh, I'll think about it, or I'll speak to my husband about it, or I'll take that to the committee.
Yes.
And then that's kind of the end of the conversation, and the phone goes down after that. You're getting that email up front and sending that information. So when they do chat with their husband, take it to the committee, they've got something they can print out, and they've got all of the the hard hitting information that is relevant to selling your show right in front of them.
That's it. And there's a couple of reasons for doing that. First and foremostly, like I say, and we all know this, when you're speaking to somebody, you'll have a scrap piece of paper lying around somewhere and a blunt pencil, and you'll take some hasty notes, which is going to mean absolutely nothing when you want to go and speak to a partner or to a board member or to a manager. It's not going to do what you are going to share with them any justice. So you want to say to them, don't worry about that. I'll send it all through. So you know they're giving you their full attention when they are listening. They're not having to hastily make notes. The other thing is in our business, we run an extensive email campaign to nurture these clients, and that is very important for us to get their email address. It may be that you sell your show over the phone and you book it there and then. I don't do that. I don't ever hard sell. I don't ever say to them, unless they are burning hot and popping, do I say, do you want me to book that for you? It's very, very rarely that I do that. I always say, this is my information. Take it away. Go and think about it. And if you want to book, the email will also tell you what I need from you to be able to take that booking. So I give them everything they need to be able to make that decision in that email.
Got it.
Rightio. So the script we will share in our show notes.
Okay. Well, the first thing that kind of I want to speak to you about is the fact that you have a script. So you don't, I mean, you know your show. How many times have you done your show, Colette?
Gazillion times.
So you know your show, you know what product it is that you offer.
Yes.
You've got a script. Why?
Because I don't tell them what I do in the show. I tell them what they get when I am there. And
I'm lost. Tell me more.
Okay, so I am telling them what are the benefits to them as mum or as organizer, and what are the benefits to the birthday child, the guests at the party, the children of the employees. So I give them the benefits of having me at their party. I don't tell them I do a this and a that, and then I do this effect, and then we play this song. I don't tell them any of that. I merely share the format, but what does that mean in benefits to them?
So you're going to share your script in the show notes, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm sure everybody will be heading over to kidsentertainerhub.com, which is where you're going to find our podcast. And you just click on the podcast tab, and all the Kids Entertainer podcasts are there. You go down and you can get those show notes, and there's going to be a link to download Colette's script. Can you share with us the format of that script? Because I guess there's going to be entertainers out there that do different things to you.
Of course.
So their script is going to be different. Does it follow a certain format?
Yes, it very much does. It starts with an outline of what it is I do. So I do a 2-hour birthday party solution, and I deliberately call it a solution, and that's the next line of my script, is because it is a complete stress-free solution to their problem that I've established. It's the fear of what to do with 35-year-olds for 2 hours. So I'm saying, you got a problem, I have the solution. And it looks like this. And then I will give them a very quick overview. So it's basically a synopsis. I'll say it's really a variety show. It's got a bit of everything. It's got magic show, disco, dancing, games, balloon animals, puppets, prizes, and then a big finale at the end of the party that will leave everybody wanting to stay. They don't want to go home. So now they're like, oh, what is that bit at the end? And then I'll basically rewind it back to the beginning, and I say, okay, walk them through from how does it work from the moment that I arrive at the party, setting up, and I break it into the sections. So I'll have a arrival part of the party. I give them a run through of what they have seen at other parties before. So I'm linking this with their experience. I then...
Is this if they've seen you before?
If they've been to a party, they know that within the first 10 minutes, people arrive. So
Right.
not
Oh, I
everybody
see what
is
you're
right there. They've gone to tens of parties with their child, and they know that within the first 10 minutes, it's a bit chaotic. And at that time, it can potentially get quite noisy and all of that. Unruly. And
Yes.
immediately, I'm painting this picture of, oh, this is the bit where it can become uncontrollable. And I go, but I manage that for you. So problem solution the whole time. And then arrival part, then we do the magic and games part, and the benefit to them is their child is the center of attention. So it's all about their child being royalty at the party. So the benefit is they are buying an experience for their child that will be memorable and special.
So they're not buying a kids entertainer.
No,
They're buying an experience
Yes.
for their child, a memory, a family memory.
Yes.
That's so different, isn't it?
Exactly.
And I guess that's why you're saying have this script. And I love the way that is laid out, because you're painting pictures. And I love the way you use those words. You're painting pictures using the experience of other parties that this parent may have gone to.
Exactly.
So they're feeling they can relate to what you're saying.
Yes. I get them to imagine things. So I say, imagine when.
Give us
Your
an
child.
example of that.
So-
I'm phoning you, and I'm looking for my daughter Kristen is turning 5, and you've established that you can do it. You've given me a little bit of a walkthrough of what it is you do. Give me one of your imagines.
Okay. So we've gone through the party game, Kristen is center of attention, and then we go into the magic show bit. Now, the very first thing we do is we get Kristen to come and put magic in the magic wand. You can picture it, can't you? Standing there with the magic wand in her hand, all her friends standing looking at her. And the response I get is, oh, she'll absolutely love that.
I was thinking that as you were saying it, I could see Kristen. I could see her standing there with a big beaming smile on her face. So you're getting this potential booker to engage at a deeper level.
Yes.
Because they phoned to ask how much it is.
Exactly.
Now they're picturing their child
Yep.
in your party. Your competitors are not doing this,
No.
guys.
No.
This is really gold. And I know, Colette, that we've asked you on here because your success rate in closing bookings over the telephone is astronomical.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It is hugely successful. I know that if I speak to a person on the first call I make, the likeliness of them booking me is amazing. It's
increased.
it's increased immensely. And the other thing, I guess, what happens as well is you are establishing a match. So what happens as a result is the shows that I do are the shows that are right for me.
Sure.
So it's really by that needs assessment and making sure that this is a good match. And the parties I do are an absolute bliss because they know what to expect. I educate them to exactly what it is that will happen. And I tell them, I'm an expert at this. Leave it to me.
So we've got that. We've painted that picture in their mind. And you've said that you don't push this. There's no hard push. So how do you close the deal? Because I guess at some stage you've got to come to a point where you say, hey, are you going to book me or not?
Exactly. So I will run through the script, which will be on the website as mentioned, and I finish it at an end where I bring the benefit to them, where I tell them that all the parents will come to you, birthday mom, and tell you that was the best party ever. And I back this up and I say, this is not something I've just made up. I hear it after every party I do when I pack my equipment away. And that's truth. That's what happens. I then go on to how much is it?
You say that.
I say that. I now say to them, okay, it costs.
Right, so because this is what they started wanting to know.
Exactly.
But they're in a very different place now.
Completely different.
And here's the thing. Psychologically, when a person is thinking of numbers and money, their headspace and where they are psychologically is very different to when they are picturing their child.
Exactly.
So you've taken them on quite a diversion journey
Very
here.
much so. So now when they come to hear the price, they're not thinking numbers, they're thinking emotion.
Yeah.
So they're now buying with heart.
Wow. And they're not buying a kid's entertainer. They are buying the experience that you have painted for them.
Exactly. They now know what it is that I offer. Rather than just how much it is that what I offer, they know what it is I offer. So I give them the price. I make it I tell them what is included in that price. I tell them there's a present for Kristen, there's prizes, there's a handout, and every single child gets something when they go home. And I say to them, that is the cost. There are no hidden costs like traveling or VAT or anything. That is the price. And this has come from speaking to people where they'd ask, is there anything on top of that? Are there any other charges that I need to be aware of? So I'm very transparent with them. I say, that is the price. I then will finish off the conversation with saying, I'll send this through to you in an email. I'll tell them where the email is going to come from. I say, if you've not got this in your inbox by, because I know when I send all my emails, by this time, please check your spam folder. And if it's still not there, please get back in touch.
Wow.
So they know that they will get a response from me. And if they don't find it, then there's something wrong.
And they know when they're going to get that response.
Exactly.
I deal with companies and they say, oh, right, okay, we'll get our sales department to put a quote together and send you an email. I know I'm expecting an email, but I don't know when.
Yeah.
And I really find it frustrating. I'm looking for it. It's not coming. Did they forget about me? You tell them when they're going to get that email. And if it's not in their inbox, they should go and look in their spam box. And if it's not, they get back in contact.
Exactly.
So you're really giving them that wraparound knowledge that they're being looked after.
I finish off with saying to them, should they want me to come to Kristen's party, note the words.
Yeah.
All the instructions of how you book are also included in the email. So you give them, the ball is now in their court. You've given them all the information they need. Then I finish off with, are there any other questions you may have?
Wow.
And at that point, they are bubbling with excitement. No, you've covered it all. Thank you so much. Whatever. And then we'll end the conversation at that point. And that is where I then say goodbye and put their phone down.
How long is this conversation from start to end?
That typically is about 15 minutes.
Wow, that's quite a relationship
Yes.
that you're building. And you're speaking about the script, and I have the benefit that I sit in the same office as you, Colette, so I get to hear you on the telephone.
Yeah.
And your script is not a one-way conversation.
Not at all.
It is a two-way conversation between you and the client, with them responding and getting excited.
Very much so. Very much so. And it works incredibly well. It's really successful.
Fab. So that is your outgoing. Oh,
that's an incoming call.
That's an incoming call.
That's it, exactly. So the incoming call is mum phoning you. They found your website. They've seen your business card or whatever the case may be. They've rung to find out how much it is. I've taken them from asking that very straightforward head question, how much it is. I've taken them through a whole journey of buying in on an emotional level, making it personal to them, and I get an opportunity to tell them exactly what it is that I offer, and then give them the answer to their question that they rung for with initially, right at the end, and I then send them all of that information on email. So that is an incoming call. So I've geared them towards my script.
Beautifully explained. And an outgoing call, what would constitute something being an outgoing call?
Okay, so I have an email in my inbox that says that Mrs. James is inquiring about Jacob's 5th birthday party on the 10th of October in Wrexham, and a telephone number. Now, I would then take that information and dial Mrs. James, and
Okay.
I would make an outgoing call. So she's inquired, she's completed an inquiry form on our website, and that is my outgoing call, my outreach to her.
So this is still that first contact, really. Although
Exactly.
they've maybe filled in the form on your website to make an inquiry or sent you an email, this is through Facebook or whatever it may be. This is still your first verbal contact.
Yes, very much so. And this by far is the easiest one, because they've already bought in on some level. They've made that commitment to say, you know what, I want more information. So they are open to receiving more information. If that from an incoming call, it's somebody that maybe, oh, I've seen this, okay, I'm going to phone. And the amount of time that they've engaged is slightly less, and it's harder to turn them around, essentially.
Okay.
So phoning somebody that has submitted an inquiry form is a lot easier, because they are expecting some information.
Sure.
So the first thing I do is phone, they answer, and I identify myself immediately. So I will say, hi, it's Colette. I'm from Magic for Children, and I am ringing about Jacob's birthday party. That's my opening line. And
Why?
why that? Because, again, from trial and error, a few things. So you phone and say, pick up the phone, they answer and go, hello, is that Mrs. James? I initially or immediately get a, yes, who is this? So they're on guard.
Yeah, I guess I know how many unsolicited sales calls
Exactly.
I get.
Yes.
And when somebody phones and they're being nice to me on the phone and I don't recognize their number or their voice,
Yeah.
there's a kind of a security wall that goes up, and I
Exactly.
really don't want to speak to them. I want to get them off. I'm very short with them.
Yeah.
My way of dealing with them will be kind of to cut them down.
Yes, exactly. And even worse is, hi there, Mrs. James. I'm hoping you have a nice day, or I hope you're having a nice day. They are on their hind legs. They are defending everything is up. Their guard is up, and you are on a bad terms immediately.
So you are immediately identifying who you are and why you're calling before
Exactly.
you even say hello to them.
Yeah.
I get it. And
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. And from a psychological point of view, again, when we have that feeling, when you get that incoming call from that unsolicited call center and that person starts talking and you know that this is an unwanted call, it changes your body chemistry.
Exactly.
There's almost that irritated feeling within you.
Yep.
So when you do then establish who you are, it's very difficult for them to change gear.
Exactly.
That first impressions are really important. You want them to be in comfort zone from the first words you say.
Very much so. So you don't want any defenses going up. You want them to be accepting of your call. And I guess people are busy people. I know I get really wound up when the phone rings and I'm in the middle of something and somebody wants to know if I'm having a nice day. It really winds me up. I don't have the time to speak to them. And
Yeah.
people are busy. That's what happens. So the very next thing I do, after I've said who I am, where I'm from, and why I'm calling, I say, do you have a moment to talk?
Respectful.
Respectful. I respect that they may not be in a place where they can talk, and most of the time they know why I am, so they're quite happy, know why I'm calling, so now they're happy for me to talk to them, and most of the time they have the time to speak. And if they don't, I say, that's okay, I'll send you an email. And maybe if there was some clarification that I needed, for example, what time, because I've only got one time slot available on the day, or whatever the case may be, I'll get that information really quickly so that I can let them go. They're not able to talk now, so I'm not going to take their time.
So that typical call might be me picking up the phone and saying, yes, oh, right, yeah, that's great. You're phoning about Kristen's birthday, but I'm at work. I can't talk at the moment.
Exactly.
Got it.
And then I will then take the information that I have from the inquiry form that they've sent through for me, and I will send through the email.
So let's say they do have a little bit of time to speak to you. Is there much of a difference in that outgoing call from the ingoing call with regards to the script?
Not at all, no. As soon as I've established They can spend a little bit of time. I will invite them to tell me more about their party. And again, the things they're going to have is the date, the time, the place. And sometimes they'll have something like, we're having a character, a costume character at the party, or we're planning to have it outdoors, or a little bit of information that is going to give you, am I suitable for this party? So it's a little bit of needs assessment, but most of the time it would be the facts. And then I would follow the script as I explained in our previous section.
So there's the difference with that outgoing call. It's just that qualification of who you are, making sure that they have time to speak, and then going straight back into that script. So this kind of feels like a brand. It's the same every time.
Yeah. Very much so. Very,
Wonderful.
very much so. And from that needs analysis and from having the conversation with them, I'm educating the client as to what it is that I do. And should they book my services, this is what it will look like, and that this is what I need in order to be able to deliver that product. And if it's not going to match, then I'm not the right person for them. And then lastly, it brings us to what happens if you can't take the call. So what do you do when you're out walking the dog and the phone rings? Or you're out at the shop and the phone rings? What do you do in that situation?
Sure.
Now, I've learned this from, again, being out and thinking, someone is phoning, I'm going to have to answer this. And I have done so, answered the phone, and within a minute or two, I realize not only am I wasting their time, I am wasting my time as well. And the reason for it is, I don't have my diary. I can't check if I'm available or not.
Yeah.
So I can't give them any information. They're phoning to get information and I can't give it to them. So you end up with almost a bad taste left in your mouth afterwards because they didn't get what they wanted. I couldn't give them what I wanted and I couldn't get what I needed. So why answer the call in the first place then?
So you're not able to help them with their inquiry. You know it's an incoming call because it's a business call. We've established that right up front. That phone rings, you're driving your car.
Yes.
Now you're on drive and talk, so you're not going to be breaking any rules by. Do you not just answer the phone and say, "Listen, I'm driving at the moment. I'll get back to you"?
No, I don't. And again, same reason. I'm wasting their time. I'm wasting my time. So what do you do in this situation?
Yeah.
And plain and simple is have a good answering machine message. A message that tells them exactly what you need them to do. And that may be a couple of things. So the way I left my messages, I say to them, you know what, I'm really excited to talk to you, but I can't at this minute because I may very well be speaking with another birthday mum or maybe another booker, or I give them some reason why I can't take the call at the minute, but I'm indicating to them that I really want to speak with them. So I ask them to do one of two things. Either to leave their name and telephone number and I'll ring them back, or secondly, direct them through to the website where they can complete our inquiry form with their party details, and then I will ring them back. But I let them know that I will get back in touch with them should they take those steps. And some people do and some people don't. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to resign yourself to you're not going to win them all.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to answer every single call. You're not going to be able to speak to every single person. And that's part of the deal. But by giving them clear instructions, putting your intentions over, sharing that excitement, making sure that they know they're in the right place. So again, your message not going, "Hi, you've reached Colette, leave a message."
Or even worse than that, the number you have dialed cannot take your thing, that automated message that you
Yes.
can leave off where the lady or the man asks you to leave your number. There is nothing more impersonal and unprofessional, I guess.
Exactly.
And again, coming back to they're looking for a professional service to come and help out at their event, at their children's birthday party, and they're going to put that work with the people that they trust and feel confident with.
Exactly.
So a really nice scripted answer phone message. Would
Yes.
you be okay to leave us maybe the answer phone message on the show notes as well, so people can listen to your answer phone message and get an idea of what it is that you say there?
Of course, I'd gladly share that with you.
So you then directing them either through to the website, or so you're assisting them the best that you can do
Yes.
when you're not able to answer that
Very,
phone.
very much so. And again, I guess that goes back to the setting. When you take that call, If you are not in the appropriate setting, don't take the call.
You know, you've covered the 3 incoming, outgoing, and can't take that you set out at the very beginning, and you said you were going to share with us. But there's one that's come up for me. What happens when you phone this client and they are not able to answer the phone and you end up going through to an answer phone? Do you have a script for that as well?
I do. I have a script for everything. Yes, I do. I leave a message for them, and the script basically, again, establishes who I am, where I'm from, why I'm calling, and then I let them know what I'm going to do. So I say, hi, it's Colette from Magic for Children. I'm
Can I ask you to actually do it as if you work as now, and now you're doing it like you're reading it?
Oh, I've got
Do
my
it-
script in front of me.
You've got your script. So here's the picture for you.
Okay.
Colette now has the script. So I am the answer phone. So I can't take your call right now. So please leave your name, number, and the time of your call, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Beep.
Hi, it's Colette from Magic for Children, and I'm ringing about Kristen's birthday party. Thank you so much for your email. I thought I'd just give you a quick ring just to find out a little bit more about your party plans. But I will send you through my party information, package pricing, and availability for you to have a look over in the meantime. I really would love to speak with you, so please do call me back. My number is...
Insert number here, because I guess you're not going to be giving your number out on an international podcast.
So that is the message that I would leave them on their answer phone.
Colette, thank you. You know, I know that Magic for Children is our business. We've done split testing within our business of the successful confirmation rate of inquiries that come in where we do not phone people
Yes.
versus inquiries that come in where we do phone people, and we've deliberately kind of done this test to be able to see what kind of difference it makes, and it is astounding. It was over 50% increase in sales from phoning people, from doing exactly what you've shared with us here today, Colette. Great learning, great information. Thank you so much, Doodle, for sharing your expert knowledge.
Thank you so much for having me. Go out, pick up the phone, answer the phone, and speak to your clients.